but listen, Shane, the conversation is all about Offaly this morning. You've revelled in having negative Offaly conversations for a long, long time.
No, no.
Like the Camogie team won at the weekend, the ladies footballers won at the weekend, the men's footballers won at the weekend, the hurlers won, and Shane Lowry had a top five finish. Like, what more do you want in a weekend for anything and everything concerned with Offaly GA?
Are you telling me that Offaly are back?
We were never gone. We definitely were gone.
You
But
were
that was,
fairly
but
gone.
that's
We
another big
forgot you
win. Like,
existed there for a while.
yeah,
Only
that's
if you were
another big
complaining.
win because Carlo relegated Offaly in 2019, and to go down to Carlo and it was 225 to 117, beat them by 8 points. Beat them by 10 points, I should say, and put up another huge score. They've put up massive scores in their three games. Oisin Kelly was kind of the main man yesterday with 1-4, and Owen Catton, who I mentioned earlier, my own clubmate, he at 112, 9 frees, 1-3 from play. Like, that's huge. Liam Langton had another big game with 4 from play. And it just looks like things have come together well. And it's funny because there's a good few people in Offaly, like, who are just realists. And last year wasn't a good year. Personnel hasn't changed that much, but something has changed within the Offaly mindset, clearly, or the way that they're playing. Everything is much slicker. And I would have potentially thought coming into this year, okay, they weren't promoted last year. They were beaten by Down in that disaster of a Christy Ring Cup semi final. Is there going to be a bit of a hangover? There's been the exact opposite. They've been brilliant from the very, very start. They put themselves in pole position. They play Down in 2 weeks' time, and if they beat Down, they're essentially promoted back up to Division One hurling, which would be a huge thing for them. So, kind of hats off to Mick Fennelly. Just hope they finish the job now and go and beat Down and beat Wicklow in that last game, and don't no messing around, and just power their way up to Division One. It'd be like the three games so far they've not been flawless, but they haven't been far from it. Like, they've been beating teams that have really, really dished out some really hard defeats to them in recent years. So it's all positive.
They've won their games by an average of 16 points. 3 games. I mean, you can't ignore that. And you mentioned that tough loss to Carlow a couple of years ago. I mean, add into that losing to Down last year, as you've mentioned. Add into that getting relegated by losing to Kerry a couple of years ago and down to Christy Ring. It really seems like Offaly are in a position where they can get that promotion, and they're going to be massive favourites to win the Christy Ring. And to be fair, before the start of the season, you said nothing shy of probably doing both of those things is going to be good enough for Michael Fennelly. And to be fair, you have to give full credit there. His team seemed unbelievably physical, and that was one of the things throughout this game that I think Carlow probably tired against them. Like, it was a good game in the first half. It was physical. The ref was letting it go. And I think Carlow probably feel they should have gone ahead, but like Offaly pounced, I think, on a sort of a short puck out at one stage, got a soft goal from the throw in at the start of the second half as far as Carlow were concerned. But the fitness of that Offaly team, the way to work it through the lines and mix it up a nice bit, like, you've got a running game, but you can also, there's stick passing and everything. So it's sort of, you've embraced modern hurling the way it should be, and the players look in great physical condition, certainly compared with, like, go 5-10 years ago, especially when you were in there.
Well, I
But
tell you what, Shane, they have a good age profile, and they're all generally mobile, quick players. And in Cal, Oisin Kelly, and Liam Langton, they have three forwards that are early to mid 20s that are really, really lighting it up and really taking on the responsibility and taking on the mantle. So I think that's huge.
and Ben Keneally then at centre back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, of
so
course, yeah, huge.
because even when or Offaly were still operating in the Liam McCarthy level and in the Leinster Championship, what was it, 2 or 3 years ago, he looked like an excellent player at that level. So I can only imagine how well he's playing. The flip side for Carlow is they do have a lot of players missing at the moment, and I'm sure that they feel a couple of things went against them in this game, and they ended up losing by 11 points for a finish. But they are missing James Doyle, who's a huge player, and we've seen that even for St Mullins as well as for the county. Ross Smithers, Ed Byrne, Ted Joyce, David English, Kieran Whelan, Richard Kelly. They are down a lot of players, so that can't be ignored, surely.
No, no, definitely not. No, James Doyle was suspended, I think, from the week before. I think they appealed that, but didn't get it off. So, like, they can't. No more than ourselves, like, we couldn't afford to be missing a couple of our better players. So in fairness, Carlo are the exact same. Tom Mullally was probably appointed, it was probably one of the last inter-county appointments as well. So I'm sure he's still trying to get to know his squad. But having played Division 1 hurling last year, they would have been, favoured to be putting up better results than they had. Beaten by Down, beaten by Offaly fairly comprehensively on home soil too. So that's disappointing from their point of view.
Up and down the country, people love their clubs. Just ask the big names.
Sorry, it's kind of hard to put that into words, Shane.
Okay, well,
you always give it your all for the club, no matter who you're playing or what you're playing. You just always have to try and push yourself.
This is for the Tullaroan people, Nicky.
Whatever grade you're playing at within the county, that you were able to have that opportunity to play.
And the other night, I said, I'm going to watch it.
Well, hopefully you will too, as Our Game launches an online fundraising platform for clubs, helping you raise money for your team through a live interactive show on Zoom. There was a time when a club could sell hundreds of tickets and fill out a big venue, putting on an entertaining show like Dances with the Stars, White Collar Boxing, The Cube and anything in between. Lots of money in the coffers to ensure your team could operate for the season, and a good show put on for those supporting the cause. Right now we're quite some time away from being able to put big crowds into a venue, yet the costs of running a club remain. So if your club is in need of a financial solution, perhaps we have it for you. We'll do it all for you too. We'll set up the ticketing platform, we'll send you a unique Zoom link for each person who has bought a ticket, all the issues taken out there, help organise a great panel of guests and put out a live interactive show for those at home to get involved. Simply contact us on events@ourgame.ie and we'll set your club up for a highly profitable evening's work. It's a simple recipe for your club to get much needed cash in the door, with the extra option to sell raffle tickets if you've prizes to give away. So contact us now at events@ourgame.ie.